Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to talk about a truth that we often sweep under the rug. A truth that is uncomfortable. A truth that many know, but few admit. It's the reality that men suffer in silence because they're told to be strong. We live in a world where strength is praised, but vulnerability is punished, especially for men. From childhood, boys are taught to man up, stop crying, act tough. They hear it at home, on the playground, in school, in sports, in media, and even in the workplace. The message is subtle but consistent. Real men don't cry. Real men don't show pain. Real men don't ask for help. And so they don't. They bottle it up. They hide the scars. They wear a mask of strength while quietly falling apart on the inside. The conditioning starts early. Let's rewind for a moment. Let's look at a little boy who falls and scrapes his knee. What do we tell him? Get up. You're a big boy now. Don't cry. If a girl cries, we console her. We hold her. We tell her it's okay to be sad. But when a boy cries, we discourage it, we correct it, we shame it. This emotional suppression starts young. It gets internalized. It becomes the default setting. As boys grow into men, they carry that emotional armor with them. They wear it to protect themselves. But over time, that armor doesn't just protect, it isolates. Society's narrow definition of masculinity. Masculinity is often painted in a narrow frame: tough, stoic, dominant, unemotional. If a man dares to step outside that frame, he's often met with ridicule, rejection, or worse. He's seen as weak. A man who shows sadness is labeled too emotional. A man who seeks therapy is told to handle it like a man. A man who talks about loneliness is met with silence or sarcastic jokes. A man who opens up about trauma or abuse is doubted or dismissed. Is this what strength really looks like? Or is it just a performance? A costume stitched together with silence and shame, the silent epidemic. This isn't just a philosophical issue, it's a crisis. Let's look at the numbers. According to the WHO, globally, men are almost twice as likely to die by suicide than women. In some countries, the suicide rate among men is 3 to 4 times higher. Depression and anxiety in men are vastly underdiagnosed because many men don't seek help. Men are less likely to see a therapist, less likely to join support groups, and less likely to even talk to friends about their struggles. Why? Because they've been taught that talking is weakness, that suffering is part of being a man, that strength means silence. This is not strength. This is a silent suffering epidemic, the hidden cost. What's the cost of this emotional suppression? It shows up in subtle and not so subtle ways. The father who provides for his family but is emotionally distant. The husband who loves deeply but doesn't know how to say it. The friend who always jokes but never shares. The colleague who smiles at work but breaks down alone at night. It manifests in anger, addiction, violence, insomnia, burnout, and sometimes in complete emotional collapse. Many men don't even know they're struggling until it's too late, because they were never taught to recognize their emotions, let alone express them. We tell men to carry the weight, but we never give them permission to put it down. Be strong. But what does that mean? Let's talk about the phrase, be strong. It's not inherently bad, but what kind of strength are we asking of men? Is strength the ability to suffer quietly, to never ask for help, to swallow pain until it becomes poison? Or is true strength the courage to be human, to cry when it hurts, to speak up when you're breaking, to seek help and not feel shame for it? We need to redefine strength, not as suppression, but as expression, not as denial, but as honesty, not as isolation, but as connection. The role of culture, media, and generations culture plays a massive role in how men are expected to behave. In many traditional households, emotions are seen as feminine and therefore unmanly. Boys grow up with fathers who never talked about feelings. They watch action heroes win battles through fists, not through words. They listen to music where vulnerability is hidden beneath bravado. Even friendships among men are affected. Most male friendships are activity-based, not emotion-based. It's rare for two male friends to sit down and say, "Hey, are you really okay?" And if one does, the other may feel caught off guard, unsure how to respond, because no one taught him how. This generational cycle continues. Many men become fathers who repeat the same pattern, not because they don't care, but because they don't know how to be emotionally available. Breaking the silence, stories that matter. Let me share a real story, one of many. There was a man named James. He was successful, respected, a family man. But inside, he was battling depression. For years, he said nothing. He went to work, he smiled, he provided. But he never told anyone how lonely he felt, how hopeless he sometimes became. One night, James tried to take his own life. Fortunately, he survived. And in his recovery, he said this: "I didn't want to die. I just wanted someone to notice I was hurting without me having to say it, because I didn't know how." How many more men are like James? What can we do? If we want to break this pattern, we must act, individually and collectively. 1. Normalize emotional expression. Let's stop telling boys to man up when they cry. Let's start telling them it's okay to feel. Let's encourage open conversations from a young age. 2. Promote mental health resources for men. Therapy should not be taboo. Seeking help should be celebrated, not shamed. We need more campaigns, more role models, more spaces where men can talk without judgment. 3. Redefine masculinity. Let's move beyond the outdated idea that masculinity equals silence. Let's celebrate men who are kind, nurturing, vulnerable, and emotionally intelligent. 4. Be there for the men in your life. Ask your brother how he's really doing. Tell your friend it's okay to talk. Listen without trying to fix. Love without conditions. Let the men in your life know they don't have to wear a mask around you. To the men listening, if you are a man listening to this and you are hurting, please hear this. You are not weak for feeling pain. You are not broken for needing help. You are not alone. Strength is not the absence of struggle. Strength is choosing to keep going. Strength is asking for help when you need it. Strength is being real. You don't have to suffer in silence anymore. The role of modern masculinity. We're now living in a time where gender roles are evolving, but emotional expectations are still stuck in the past. Men are allowed to be sensitive as long as it doesn't make others uncomfortable. Men are allowed to open up, but only in socially acceptable ways. Men are allowed to cry, but not too much. This confusing double standard leaves men emotionally stranded, caught between old masculinity and new expectations. So, here's a radical question. What if we gave men full permission to feel everything without shame? To feel sadness without ridicule? To feel fear without judgment? To feel love without conditions? To feel confusion without being mocked? That's not weakness. That's humanity. Rebuilding the emotional toolkit. If we want to help men heal, we must rebuild the emotional toolkit they were never given. This includes, most men were never taught how to put words to what they feel. So instead of saying, "I'm overwhelmed," they say, "I'm fine." Instead of saying, "I'm scared," they say nothing. We need to teach emotional vocabulary, not just to children, but to adults, to fathers, to friends, to leaders. Because without the language, there can be no dialogue. Men need places where they can speak without being silenced, judged, or emasculated. These safe spaces might be support groups, therapy rooms, trusted friendships, or even anonymous forums. And remember, safe space isn't just physical, it's emotional. If a man opens up to you, don't belittle him. Don't rush to fix him. Just listen. We need more public figures, athletes, actors, creators, and leaders who normalize emotional honesty. When someone like Dwayne Johnson, Prince Harry, or Terry Crews talks openly about mental health, it gives permission to millions of men silently struggling. Visibility matters. Vulnerability matters even more. Partners, friends, siblings, your words matter. Telling a man you don't have to carry everything alone can be life-changing. Men are often waiting for someone to make the first move to say, "I see you. You're safe here." To the men listening, you are not alone. If you are a man who feels tired, If you are holding back tears no one has seen, if you're carrying burdens that feel too heavy, please know this. You don't have to do it all by yourself. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to pretend you're okay when you're not. You are allowed to fall apart. You are allowed to ask for help. You are allowed to heal. Strength isn't just getting through it. Strength is reaching out. Strength is breaking the silence, so others can too. To the women, families, and friends, this isn't just a men's issue. It's a human issue, a cultural issue, a generational issue. Men need your empathy, not your assumptions. They need your support, not your solutions. They need your presence, not your pressure. If you love a man, father, brother, son, friend, partner, remind him that he doesn't have to be your rock all the time. Sometimes he needs to be held too. The new definition of strength. It's time to rewrite the definition of strength. Strength is speaking your truth, even when your voice shakes. Strength is saying, I need help, and not feeling ashamed. Strength is allowing yourself to be loved, not just for what you do, but for who you are. Real strength is emotional honesty. Ending the silence. The silence has lasted long enough. It's time to break it. Let's raise boys who don't have to unlearn their emotions. Let's build a world where men are free to cry, to grieve, to feel. Let's tell every man struggling in silence, you are not weak, you are not alone, and you are worthy of love just as you are. Together, let's create a future where no one has to suffer in silence just to prove they're strong. Thank you.